Welcome to another episode of the Nearly Go Around podcast. I'm Ronaldo McKenzie. Question: do you believe that resource-based sentencing and supervision makes those with limited resources turn to crime as a way to access opportunity? Since opportunities are lacking or limited or lacking in communities where some turn to illegality. But not all crimes stem from lack of opportunity.
No, I do not believe that somebody would...
Where some turn to illegality.
...incarcerate themselves just to be a part of this program.
Well, I mean...
oxymoronic.
Well, yeah, but there are those who would... it is oxymoronic, but there are those who actually do that. There are those who actually sell it. They say, excuse me, if you...
Oh, people who develop this program sell it to those less fortunate?
No, I'm just saying, we're looking at... Listen, when you develop a program, you explore all the ways...
Become a criminal, do criminality in order to make money.
No, you don't say you're going to become a criminal.
Criminality should not be rewarded in those aspects, in those type of ways.
No, but punishment is... people are punished, okay, when they do wrong. And when they and punishment serves as a deterrent. Okay, people aren't just held accountable for their wrong through punishment, okay, or punitive action. Okay, that's not the only way they are held accountable for it. But they're also held. But that's not the only way. That's not the only thing. That's not the only purpose of punishment. Punishment is also a deterrent. A deterrent to crime. Okay? But when you know that you can commit a crime, okay, and access resource-based sentencing and supervision, then it's not a big deal if I commit the crime, because I'm also going to gain. I'm gaining if I commit the crime.
There's no guarantee that you're going to gain, and crime stigmatizes you. Crime follows you. All right, I got to go.
Of course, crime follows you, but when you are already disadvantaged and you're already seen as criminal, you are already, especially when you live in vulnerable communities. Yes? And these people, especially those who are affected by crime and the perpetrators of crime, okay, are people lacking in certain literacy skills, people who are exposed to that particular kind of lifestyle. But that is if that's the only reason why people are incarcerated. As I said to you just now, that's a lopsided view of looking at criminality. People commit crime not only because they lack opportunity, but if they already live in communities where they lack opportunities, then the resource-based sentencing supervision may dilute the efficacy of the deterrence that it provides. Anyways, but that's what's coming up on the Nearly. This is on the Nearly Go Around. It promises to be great. But before we get into that commentary, we have some more. We have some other things we're going to consider, and we got some stories we're going to share. This is Season 5, Episode 3. And today is Part 3 and last episode on the Sentencing Foundation. Of course, as you know, the Sentencing Foundation is raising awareness and resources and funds to reduce recidivism or resentencing and mass incarceration. And they recently had a launch and fundraising event in Philadelphia, which had or hosted several stakeholders, benefactors, professionals, judges, attorneys, academics, ex-offenders, and so on. Now, today's episode, we continue with the Sentencing Foundation, with some of the interviews and stories that we had captured while at the event. So, The episode will feature Rosalind Blackwell, which is another powerful story from an ex-offender, now re-entry program organized in Philadelphia. And the Honorable Judge Stephanie M. Sawyer, who will put all of this into perspective and respond to some of my rebuttal and any detractions regarding this program, because she will provide the rationale and the justification about the program and what happened and what needs to happen. She provides a powerful response and explanation, and then I end. Now, when we come back, we will go straight into the episode and we'll pick up from where we left off with Rosalind Blackwell. But just so you know, please continue to support the program here at the Neoliberal Realm Podcast. And you can donate to us by visiting www.anchor.fm/theneoliberal/support. And also you can donate to the Neoliberal Corporation and what we are seeking to do, which is serving the world today to solve tomorrow's challenges. And we have major projects and programs on the horizon, and we continue to do several things. Of course, you can check out my book, Neoliberalism, Globalization, Income Inequality, Poverty and Resistance, which is available worldwide in all platforms. And of course, my next book that's coming up, Neoliberal Globalization Reconsidered, and I might add, and the Black Position. This is the Neoliberal Realm Podcast. We'll be right back after these messages. Welcome back to the episode. Here is Rosalind Blackwell, who recently addressed. Rosalind Blackwell is an ex-offender who is now serving as a re-entry program coordinator and is a part of the Sentencing Foundation. She shared her story at the launch of the Sentencing Foundation web release on December 1, and we have her powerful story coming up next.
Good evening, everyone. So, I'm following up behind my good friend Suave. So, I just wanted to say that, first of all, I thank everyone for being here tonight to support the cause. I just met Judge Sawyer a couple weeks ago myself, and I think that she's amazing. So, like you said, he doesn't know where to start. So, I'm not going to start at the beginning. I'm going to start at the middle. I met him when I was a corrections officer at Grayson. And in 17 days, it'll be 4 years since I was released from prison. I now run 2 re-entry programs for Your Arts in Philadelphia, the Restorative Justice Department. And our stories are a little bit different, but kind of the same. I didn't go to prison because I was guilty, because I was. I went to prison because I would not allow them to force me to tell big lies from the men that were already behind the wall. It was a political thing. They didn't really want me for what it was that I did. They wanted me to lie on those men. They were already serving life sentences. The men that were already doing 20 to 30 to 50 years, so they didn't put street charges on that. I didn't do it. I was looking at 9.5 to 18 years. And I fought it. And then finally I took a deal, I did my time, I came home. When I came home, I was volunteering for Joe Arts and walked Suave. I didn't even recognize him at first because I was used to seeing him in grounds. He was used to seeing me in a gray shirt and black pants. He knew who I was before I knew who he was. And when we realized who the other person was, it was like time stood still because he gave me an opportunity. He did my story so that I could be heard and tell the truth about the corruptions that are going on inside the prison. Because he was there the night that my situation happened. Did my story on his podcast. From there, it's been off to the races. He gave me the same phone call that he got from someone that said, hey, I want you to be a judge. And I was kind of on the other end of the line. Like, be a judge. The last time I met a judge, I went to shadow. But it was all positive vibes. He introduced me to Judge Sawyer, and now I have the pleasure of having the opportunity to partner with her so that when these people come before her, instead of her sentencing them and going back to jail, we're partnering together so that they can come to my podium. So that they don't come to I stand here tonight as a convicted felon with 3 felonies. Single mother of 3 children, but I want people to understand that your worst choice, and I don't say mistakes because I didn't make a mistake. I consciously did what I did, and I stand on it. I'm not trying to make it seem like somebody made me do anything that they didn't. I did what I did, and I stand on it, but I say all of that to say everyone in this room has potentially broken the law at some point. You just didn't get caught for what it was that you did. Or maybe you got caught and you knew the right people, so you weren't reprimanded for what it was that you did. So just because someone's circumstances are less than what you are doesn't mean that they don't deserve a chance. And if we want to keep giving chances, we can keep spending $45,000 a year to house inmates, or we can let Judge Sawyer not violate these inmates and send them to me, and I can pay them $15 an hour livable wages.
Talk about it.
Donate tonight and save your tax dollars from sending these people back to prison. And I am a testament to say it can be done. I have been off of state parole and Montgomery County probation since August 15th of 2021. No violations, no new cases, none of that. And like I said, I'm the only female in the city of Philadelphia. The only female that's doing this.
That was Rosalind Blackwell. What a powerful... You know, people can change. People can move on. People can move on. Move on from the problems that they create in society. People can move on from criminality. People change. And when they change, they can change to the extent where they now are making themselves worthwhile. Changing to the point where they are making an impact, moving the needle forward, moving society forward. You know, Miss Blackwell said something quite powerful. By the way, she said something about corruption in the prison. I wonder what she was alluding to there, corruption in the prison. But she said, we can keep spending $45,000 per year to house inmates, or we can let the judges, such as Judge Stephanie M. Sawyer, who created the program, or is leading the program, or we can let judges not send them or re-sentence them. Instead, send them to her program, and she will pay them $15 per hour in wages. And then she goes on to say, so donate. And then she says, I'm testimony of what can be done, what needs to be done. I'm testimony of what can be done and what needs to be done. Because she says that she's a mother of 3. And she's an ex-felon. But here she's making a difference. If only, people can change. If only we provide them an opportunity. If we provide people opportunities, they'll change. If we provide opportunities in society, also we wouldn't have to think about incarceration. But this is not the conversation.
I mean, I was just basically telling you that when I first got appointed as a judge municipal court, the first thing I said to myself is that I was not going to be the kind of judge that helped to feed the beast that is mass incarceration.
Yes.
Right? The way the system currently operates, it does just that. And
Yeah.
I'll leave a little bit of that commentary to the side.
Yes.
But I will say that the general path when somebody gets convicted, right? Except for intentional carve-outs. And when I say carve-outs, I mean things like ARD. They say ARD is accelerated rehabilitation disposition.
Yes.
They say if you have a 0 prior record score, we're going to not put you through the criminal justice system and we're going to give you a different path.
Yes.
They have drug treatment court. Oh, because you're a drug addict, we're going to carve you out of the criminal justice system and treat you in this manner. Or veterans court. Because you're a veteran, I'm going to carve you out of the criminal justice system and treat you in this path.
Yeah.
Or mental health court. Because you have mental health problems, I'm going to carve you out of the criminal justice system. And so except for these intentional carve-outs, the criminal justice system works like this. A judge will sentence somebody and they'll either sentence them to probation and flub them off to probation officers, or they'll sentence them to incarceration and flub them off to the Department of Correction, 90-something% get out, and they get flubbed off to parole officers.
Yes.
And the next time that judge who sees the person they sentence will be when a probation or parole officer is so frustrated that they opine revocation because the defendant is either not doing what the probation or parole officer asked them to do, or has a new case, or has a new conviction.
Right.
In those three circumstances, the probation or parole officer will request a violation of probation hearing and recommend additional punishment. And the next time the sentencing judge sees a person they sentence is when that happens. And because they have no experience with the person, they'll quite naturally follow what the probation or parole officer asks them to do.
That's true.
And so the next time that the judge who sentenced you sees you, it's time to punish you again.
Yes.
So if judges only see people...
That was the voice of the Honorable Stephanie M. Sawyer, the mind behind the Sentencing Foundation. And, you know, we some time ago in the first episode of season 5, which was part 1 of looking at the Sentencing Foundation, we explored the benefits, but we also asked if it also makes crime look attractive when certain people in community may now get better and more access to resources and opportunities that they think that they do not otherwise have, and went further as to consider the victims who are still reeling from the crime and the political will to do anything to stem mass incarceration based on votes, since ex-offenders can vote in Philadelphia, because Suave, and earlier we said Suavo Gonzalez, but I'm learning that it's Suave Gonzalez. Suave Gonzalez had talked about the fact that an ex-offender who is now Pulitzer Prize winner, who we carried in part 1 of the series, had indicated that that in Philadelphia he was able to vote 30 days after he was released. And we said that that's one of the things that voters have in Philadelphia, that ex-offenders have in Philadelphia, is that they are able to vote. And so we consider whether or not there is any kind of political will to get a buy-in on this program, and whether or not persons will only act if there is some kind of special interest. But beyond that, when you listen to Miss the Honorable Stephanie M. Sawyer, and she talks about the program, it goes beyond just thinking about it in that way, okay? And we're going to hear from Miss Sawyer some more. But what is important is that most of the ex-offenders are black and brown people from communities ravished by poverty, low incomes, and rising crime and violence. And in retrospect, we did a podcast series on what's life like living in Philadelphia, where many people suggested a father's movement was needed as younger men are beset by crime and violence and are lacking responsible fathers. However, many fathers are incarcerated, and the lack of resources for ex-offenders create further challenges in rehabilitation. Thus, the cycle of incarceration from lack of fathers in communities. However, as we said before, judges are coming together to help with not just locking up offenders, but creating a way that rehabilitates offenders so that they can re-enter society with resources to provide for themselves, their families, and communities. And of course, you're going to hear in one of the interviews where somebody said they do not like the word rehabilitate, but you're going to hear and as we continue to delve into this program, you'll hear the Honorable Stephanie M. Sawyer talking about that. Now, of course, we look at the Suave Gonzalez, who is a former inmate who is now on parole, lifetime parole. We shared his story, and we talked about the fact that in his re-entry in society was not easy, yet was able to access resources despite uncertainty and lack. That has helped him to become an empowering figure to others, such as the young lady we heard earlier, who is now running her own re-entry program. And of course, he's a ghostwriter of several books and a Pulitzer Prize podcast winner. So and his comment was very important. So, and he talked about the fact that the foundation plays a pivotal role in raising awareness about mass incarcerations and provide resources that help the resource-based sentencing and supervision to provide resources to inmates, ex-offenders, and parolees. We also pointed out some time ago in relation to Suavo's statement about providing opportunity and its lack in society. And of course, you hear Rosalind Blackwell also talked about opportunity, talking about providing equal opportunity. But we say that equal opportunity is an affront to inequality and advantage that some have and want to maintain. So if providing opportunities means that others will come up, then those who are ahead, which is the case in society, may be suspicious of the competition from the uprising based on opportunity and equal access, and may be slow to provide any opportunity, and or may prefer to limit opportunity. So it will be interesting to follow how this effort will take shape, and whether it will find support in other communities and other communities nationwide. Moreover, there is the argument that while this program is vital and provide benefits to reducing mass incarceration and recidivism in society, it also creates another problem in that those who lack access and opportunity may now see crime and incarceration differently. It may no longer be a deterrent to want to commit crime. If you may find accessing resources through resource-based sentencing and supervision that you cannot get normally and without committing any crime. The executive director of the program of the Sentencing Foundation pointed out that she had gotten a job for an ex-convict paying $30 an hour, while social workers with college degrees were getting $17 to $21 per hour. Moreover, those who have been victimized by those who have served their time and or got their times cut short on good behavior and are now or can now get access to opportunity and resources may still be reeling from that victimization. We're talking the victims may still be reeling from that victimization, suffering from post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD, or some setbacks caused by the victimization of the crime and lack access and opportunity themselves or any worthwhile recovery of their loss. What actions are there to also improve or assist those who have suffered setbacks from crime and violence? And how do we reconcile these detractions from the program? Nevertheless, every crime or violent act cannot and must not be viewed in the general and must be taken on the merits of the particular crime. So the program towards restoring an individual through the provision of resources require a deeper understanding of incarcerations, victimization, relative deprivation, poverty, racism and discrimination, bad policing, and new discoveries in legal matters and the law, rehabilitation, and also the preservation of society. The last point is important, as incarcerations also create the lack of fathers in the home that has led to lack of parenting and more crime and violence among younger men. However, it would seem that we are working backwards or spreading our resources too widely, as opportunities and resources are limited within communities, which has also led to crime and violence. We will continue to discuss and follow this program and provide more coverage and interviews on the Foundation's recent event launching their website, providing more awareness and raising funds for the organization. However, we are reminded in scriptures that all have sinned and fallen short, and that there is not one that is righteous, so that we are all in need of restoration and forgiveness. Lest we forget the golden rule. Do unto others what we want others to do to us. And so, we must be able to move beyond ourselves and situations in order to see the bigger picture. Then we can truly move to social action. Importantly, justice is not just about finding fault, but also restoring both the victim and the perpetrator. And so both goes hand in hand. Therefore, we cannot be selfish in our pity and victimization, but must move to forgiveness, as we are reminded that judge not, lest ye be judged. And no man is so pure that at any point he may find himself somewhere he was not before, and requires the same mercy that he had once withheld when he was the hand that held the handle. We will continue to listen to the Honorable Judge M. Sawyer, the Honorable Judge Stephanie M. Sawyer. We'll be right after this. We'll be right back after this, and we will continue from where we left off with the Honorable Stephanie M. Sawyer putting into perspective the importance of this program and how it came about and what it would mean for society. This is the Neoliberal Round, brought to you by the Neoliberal Corporation, serving the world today to solve tomorrow's challenges. Welcome back to the episode. So earlier we had began with an excerpt of the interview with the Honorable Stephanie M. Sawyer. And we have some more of that interview, because she went on to explain that the general path when someone gets convicted, except for intentional carve-outs. And when Judge Sawyer talks about intentional carve-outs, she explained what is meant by intentional carve-outs, which was important to understanding the point she was about to make concerning the general path when someone gets convicted, in relation to her goal as a judge to not allow herself to feed the beast that was mass incarceration. So according to Judge Sawyer, carve-outs are things such as ARD, and ARD is accelerated rehabilitated disposition. Again, accelerated rehabilitated disposition. And actually, we're going to continue with the interview. But she was saying that, for example, say if you have a 0 prior record score, we're not going to put you through the criminal record system, and we are going to give you a different path. They have drug treatment court. So because you're a drug addict, we're going to carve you out of the criminal justice system and treat you in this manner. Or veterans court. Because you're a veteran, we're going to carve you out of the criminal justice system and treat you in this path. Or mental health court. Because you have mental health problems, we're going to carve you out of the criminal justice system, so on and so forth. So Judge Sawyer then went back to where she went back to where she had left off when she was commenting on the general path when someone gets convicted, except for intentional carve-outs, pointing out that the criminal justice system works like this. A judge will sentence somebody to probation and flog them out or flog them off to probations or flog them off to probation officers, or they'll sentence them to incarcerations and flog them off to the Department of Corrections. And over 90% get out. Listen, she said over 90%, and that was revealing. Then they get flogged off to parole officers. And the next time that judge who sees the person they sentence will be when a probation or parole officer is so frustrated that they opine revocation, because the defendant or parolee is either not doing what the probation or parole officer asks them to do, or have a new case, or has a conviction, a new conviction. So in those three circumstances, she says, a probation or parole officer will request a violation of probation hearing to recommend additional punishment. And the next time a sentencing judge sees a person that they had sentenced is when that happens, meaning revocation, re-incarceration leading to mass incarceration. And because the sentencing judge, does not have no experience with the person, they would naturally follow what the probation or parole officer recommends. So the next time that the judge sentences you, the next time that the judge who sentences you sees you, it is time for you to get that sentence again. Again, let me say that again. She says that, so the next time that the judge who sentenced you in the prior conviction sees you again, then again it's time to sentence you again. So this led her to a very important conclusion couched in a question. So if judges sees people only to punish people, when exactly do they help? And this is a very, very important point. And she asked, in fact, we're going to continue with the interview, and we're going to pick up from there. And here is the Honorable Judge M. Sawyer.
So if judges only see people to punish people, when exactly do they help?
Wow.
I've created a system, a program called Resource-Based Sentencing Supervision. It's intended... Resource-based sentencing and supervision.
Oh, wow.
It's how you sentence and how you supervise. Right. And so in that model, judges are actually part of the solution.
Yes.
They're actually there to help. When I sentence somebody, say I'm sentencing somebody with 3 possession with intent to deliver and a 10th grade education.
Yes.
I can set my watch to his foot.
Right.
So that means I have to sentence him to get his high school diploma. I have to sentence him to figure out what kind of vocational training he needs.
Yes.
What kind of buy-in he needs to have legitimate income. I mean, most of my corner boys, they're frustrated, they're entrepreneurs. If we can just get them to change their product.
Yes, that is
true.
true.
Then we'd be actually doing something.
Yeah.
So there are folks with the entrepreneurial spirit that we have resources, entrepreneurial boot camp to learn how to get LLCs, to learn how to open up their own business and a quarterly profit and loss statement, all of that.
And how to access funding as well.
And say it again.
And how to access funding, because
that's
a major issue.
But access of funding starts with financial literacy and understanding what happens with the dollar.
Yes.
Understanding how credit works. Understanding the rule of 72, the point upon which your money flips. So a financial literacy is the first step into showing people how to have access to money. Because you don't understand how to get to it first, nor do you know how to grow it or any of these other things. Well, those are some of the resources that we give in resource-based sentencing and supervision. I've been practicing resource-based sentencing and supervision in my courtroom since, I didn't have a name for it until 2018.
Yes.
So formally 2018, 19, 20, 21, 22, and this year we just launched the Sentencing Foundation. The Sentencing Foundation is intended to be the logistical support for resource-based sentencing and supervision, such that it could be in every jurisdiction.
Yes.
State, federal, big cities, rural places.
Yes.
That's what the Sentencing Foundation is intended to do, and that's what we're working on building out right now. So it will usher in a cultural shift in jurists to be part of the solution. Yes. And instead of always showing up to punish defendants, they're actually there to help folks.
Yes.
And so that's what we're hoping will catch on.
Wow, this is great. We're talking with Judge Sawyer right here in Philadelphia, Germantown, Philadelphia. And this is just some of the programs that we need, because, what happens is that sometimes they punish these guys and One of the young men, I do a series called What's Life Like Living in Philadelphia, interviewing hundreds of people in Philadelphia on the show. One gentleman, and several people have been saying we need a fathers movement. We lack responsible fathers and responsible parents, and they're not in the home, or we lack responsible parents. Some people are saying social media, decay, or resources.
It's all of the above.
Yes.
I don't know why anybody wants to just point out one good reason and say, ooh, that's the magical
Yes,
pill.
yes,
sprinkle magical dust on a problem. There's no such thing.
Multifaceted.
It's a multifaceted problem.
Yes,
right?
yes.
And so, as a judge, I'm trying to promote a mechanism for judges to use that will help greatly reduce recidivism.
Yes.
Right? And so every individual in their own lane, in their own right, needs to. We need to have people that promote good parenting.
Yes.
We need to have people that promote trauma counseling, because most of the people I see have post-traumatic stress disorder.
Oh, yes, definitely.
Okay, so hurt people hurt people.
Yes.
If you take a bunch of traumatized people and sprinkle a bunch of guns all over the place, why are folks surprised that folks are shooting?
Right.
Why are you
one
surprised?
thing leads to the next, I
mean, it's a shame, yes, but it's not surprising.
Yes.
Everybody's acting like, oh my God, it's not surprising.
Yes. What a powerful point. What a powerful point. Did you hear that point that the Honorable Judge Sawyer just made about hurt people? Hurt people. Quite powerful. She said, as a judge, she's trying to promote a mechanism for judges to use that will help greatly reduce recidivism. What's quite powerful. And then she goes on to say that, so hurt people. So when you take a bunch of traumatized people and sprinkle guns all over the place, what do you think is going to happen? Quite powerful. Then she goes on to say that desperate people make really bad decisions. Therefore, if you want to effectuate a bad situation, you have to start by making people not desperate. And she goes on to make that point. We continue with the interview. Here is Judge Sawyer. Let's go back for a little bit, because that was quite a powerful point. Yes,
it's really not. If you look at, when mass incarceration began in the 80s and 90s, and crack epidemic came out, which they're treating crack very different. They're treating opiates very differently than they treated crack. But that's another conversation.
Yes.
But my point is, generations from the 80s and 90s, their kids raised themselves.
Yes.
And now we're 2 generations past that. Why are people surprised at how desperate things are getting?
Yes.
It makes complete, perfect sense to me.
Yes, it's part of the cycle.
Desperate people make really bad decisions. If you want to effectuate a situation, you have to start by making people not desperate. Desperate people don't have the mental clarity to make a decent decision.
Yes.
There are 2 kinds of people. There are actors and there are reactors.
Yes.
Actors put things into place because they've thought things through, and it's like a chess game.
Yes.
Reactors are just, there's a brick coming, duck.
Yes.
There's a fire over here, put it out. Reactors are just reacting to the situation in front of them without having an opportunity to think about what they want to do.
Wow. I teach at colleges as well, and there's one thing that I've been facilitating at the college course, at some people I'm teaching at the college course, talking about critical thinking. Developing a college mindset,
and problem-solving mechanisms.
Yes.
Because life is nothing but a series of problems, and how you problem solve definitely dictates your level of success.
Wow. Listen, there is so much that can be said, and learning and people's ability to be able to problem. You are an amazing person.
Oh, thank you.
I can't wait to. And you said there is something coming up. The launch. When is the launch of the?
Well, we got to first make sure the website is up and running and operational. So my guesstimation, because it's not even a good estimation yet. The guesstimation is by the first week of November we should be looking to have a web launch, a web launch event. where people come in and donate to,
Yes.
because Sentencing Foundation is
Yes.
a nonprofit organization that's, resource-based sentencing and supervision needs resources.
Yes.
The Sentencing Foundation facilitates that.
Wow. Thank you so much. And we'll be there, guys. I will be there when it happens.
Yes.
And I will continue to follow your work. And yes.
Let me
Thank you so much for the Liberal Around podcast. That was the interview with the Honorable Stephanie M. Sawyer, Municipal Court Judge in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. What a powerful interview. What a powerful interview with the Honorable Judge. What a powerful. When we come back, we will wrap up. We'll be right back after this. Welcome back to the episode. As the Honorable Judge Sawyer makes her case for the importance or presented her case concerning the importance of having a resource-based sentencing and supervision, she went on to explain. She went on to explain that there are two types of people: reactors and actors. She said that actors put things into place because they thought things through. And for them, life is like a chess game. On the other hand, reactors are just opposite of that. There's a brick coming, duck. There's a fire coming, put it out. Reactors are just reacting to the situation in front of them without the opportunity to think about what they want to do. And I invite you to, and that's how she concluded, and I invite you to donate and to support the program that they are going to be launching this week. It's the Consenting Foundation, or the Consenting or the Sentencing Foundation, I believe it's called. So look out for that, and as soon as more information that we get from, I will be participating in the program. I will reach out to her, and whatever we get, we will share it with you. But in closing, after such a powerful and passionate argument making her case for a resource-based sentencing and supervision program, it was not surprising that the judge would conclude the interview by sharing a well-needed and impactful effort that she and her team are embarking on, if they can garner the support needed from donors and supporters. The launch of the Consenting Foundation, a non-profit organization that facilitates and sources the resources that the resources-based sentencing and supervision program needs. Of course, the launch again will be by the first week in November. This is the Neoliberal Around podcast. That concludes the show today. And please, I invite you to support us. And just so you know, the Neoliberal Corporation is a think tank, news commentary, digital creators, we're academics, website specialists, writers and editors, podcasters and publishers. Visit the Neoliberal Corporation and check out our services, our materials and archives at theneoliberal.com. Our podcast, subscribe for free at anchor.fm/theneoliberal. And of course, visit us at ronaldocmckenzie.com, and you can access more of our programs, our materials there. And we are also on YouTube. We are also at antsbusinesssolutions.com, where you can access our website hosts and design services. And of course, visit us at theneoliberal.com, and you can access some of our books, our materials, our journals, more news, blogs, so on and so forth. I am Ronaldo McKenzie. Thank you for listening, and support us at https://anchor.fm/theneoliberal/support. Walk good.